Hey y'all, welcome back to Whip Clips. In this episode, I am changing out the actuator for my Honda CRV 2005 Honda CRV. One of the door locks stopped working, so I have to change out the actuator. It's the passenger side rear door. I don't think they have two-door CRVs, but just in case, this is a four-door. And I found a video. I'm always looking for easier ways to do things. And let me tell you, there is no easier way. Every time I try a shortcut with this or with my Jeep or whatever, it winds up being a nightmare, and that was no exception here. This entire video goes through a method that I found on YouTube, which claimed you can replace the door lock without having to actually disassemble and remove the entire lock mechanism. Well, it turns out disassembling and removing the entire lock mechanism not only works better, it makes the job easier. Trying to do this while the lock is still inside the door is absolutely impossible and insane. So I'll show you all the steps I went through, but up front I want to tell you, don't do it this way. At the end, I'll link to a video that you should actually watch and methods you should actually use. Now, if you want to use this video as a kind of way or a how-to on how to disassemble your door, hey, yeah, go for it. This will show you how to disassemble the panel and everything. But just don't use this as a method to change your locking mechanism. So I'm putting this up here just for learning, people who want to learn. In reality, I really struggled with should I even post this video or not. But then I thought, yeah, you know what, people might appreciate seeing this, and then at the end I'll tell you what happened. ...2005 Honda CRV. We're gonna basically, this servo here isn't working. It's not unlocking or locking the door when I hit the button. So we're gonna have to pull the door panel off and replace the actuator. First thing you have to do, roll down the window, which apparently I can't do. You have to make sure the switch is on the on position and that the child lock isn't off or isn't on. Next, you're going to remove this small panel right in here, and what you want to do is to get a small flathead or something that's thin enough to get in that crack and just lever it out. I'm going to need both hands for this. Definitely want to be more careful than I was. I really scratched the hell out of that, but eventually it popped out. It's harder to get off than I thought. And next, you're going to get those two Phillips head screws. You're going to unscrew those. So now you can see that the trim pops off after you remove those two Phillips heads, and there's a little brown clip, in my case it's brown, right here. Trying to think of how to do this where you guys can actually see. Right there, okay? We're gonna remove that clip, and you're gonna do it with your screwdriver. I'm gonna try and do this with the camera in the way. You're just gonna pop it over to one side. There you go. It just popped over. See that? So now this piece, you can just slide off of that metal bar. You just push that up. Trim is removed. Next, you've got a Phillips head that is like, here's the door right here, and here's the handle of the door. Right up in here, there's a deep hole, and at the bottom of that hole is a Phillips head screw that you're gonna have to remove. Next, we're going to take off this piece here. I've got this nifty plastic thing that does as little damage as possible to panel trim. Just get that under there. I'm going to pry up a little bit just to loosen things up, and it pops right off. This retaining clip right here, if you can see, there's a slot kind of there for a tool to go in. I'm going to get two screwdrivers. I'm going to see if I can do this with one. I don't want to break the clip. You want to break as few of these as possible. But basically, you want to work that out gently. It's better if you can do it with two screwdrivers, but in this case, it worked with only one. So you pull that center part out, and then the rest of the clip should come out. There you go. At this point, all you have are retaining clips going around the outside of the panel, and you just want to work your way around the panel, popping them off. I'm going to start up here in the upper left and work down. And I've got one of these tools here that basically slips in and kind of goes around the clip. The way you do it is basically you kind of look for, you can tell where the clips are by where it's kind of giving you some resistance, and you just want to work it down and just start popping them off. You could also use that plastic thing that I have too. This is not very hard. In fact, I probably should use the plastic one so that I don't damage or scrape the door, but there, the clips around the sides have been loosened. And then if memory serves, all I do is lift straight up at this point, and the panel is loose. Yeah, there you go. Now, you still have electrical connectors attached that you need to deattach. So don't just, be careful. So I'm gonna remove that electrical connector there, and then move on. So the next thing we're gonna do, there's power going to the actuator. We're gonna unplug it, and the actual clip part is right here. It's close to this metal panel here. You're gonna reach in, squeeze, make sure with your thumb, you're gonna get this is my right hand, you're gonna get the squeeze part on the clip, and you're gonna just walk it out, pull on it until it comes free, and be gentle, and there it is. So you see what I'm talking about? You're gonna be squeezing on that part right there with your thumb. All right, I'm interrupting here to show you what you really should do at this point is see this picture here with the yellow arrows. If you remove those screws, and then do the next step. Further in the video, I show you how to undo 3 screws to kind of detach the actual locking mechanism. But this is what you would do if you do it the right way at this point, is remove those 2 Phillips head screws with the yellow arrows. Once you do that, after you remove the 3 Phillips head at the end of the door to loosen the locking mechanism, that gray plastic piece will come out. And actually, I think the gray plastic piece comes out right now. The lock won't come out, but you have to kind of really twist and wriggle the gray plastic piece out, and then you can remove the lock after that. So anyway, just in case you want to know the right way to do it, this is what you should do at this point. Okay, so here's your actuator, that cream colored thing, and there are 2 screws you have to remove. They're toward the top. They're both brass. Let me see if I can get this angled so you can actually see it. You see those 2 screws? One just above that plug, and then right in here, I can't get my hand in there, right up above and to the right of the plug is another brass screw. You'll see them, they're close to each other. They're right next to each other practically. You're gonna undo those, and it's not easy. I'm gonna have to put the phone down because it's a cramped space. Just do your best to unscrew those 2 Phillips head. They're Phillips head screws. Hey, sorry for the, well, you didn't see any delay, but I had to stop filming yesterday because of rain. But it was really tough to get at those screws inside, so I decided, I think the first time I did this job on the other side, I went after these screws on the outside to release or loosen the lock itself and give me a little more movement to play with to get those 2 screws inside for the actuator. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. Remember I said earlier that if you remove those 3 Phillips head screws at the end of the door, the locking mechanism will come out. That's what I mean. At this point, if you removed the gray piece of plastic in this picture with the green arrow, and then undid those 3 Phillips head, now you can pull the entire lock out of the door and replace everything you need to in the comfort of your workbench or whatever. That's the way to do this. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but by doing that, it dropped it down a little bit. See how I can move it up and down? I can kind of wiggle things around now. Anyway, I have better access now to the 2 screws, so That'll make the job easier. And in fact, if I undo this clip now and remove that, that really lets me move things around if you need to. Just don't forget to clip that back up here. That's your door lock. So that took a while. The screws are in a really tight spot. Make sure you have a small screwdriver. I used this, and you know, it was a fight. Not like a, you know, taking the head off or anything like that fight, but just really cramped spaces, taking a long time kind of fight, dropping stuff. One of those magnet reachers is also helpful in case you drop something into the door, although there's plenty of room at the bottom to pick stuff up. So anyway, this is the old one. This is the new one we're putting in. So the places the screws go are going to be right here, and this is what actually attaches the mechanism to the lock itself, the actuator to the lock. So this is going to be fun. Basically, I'm going to have to wriggle it in the same way I wriggled it out, and then put those tiny screws back in the door. I anticipate that this will be another pain in the ass job, but I'll let you know. Also, make sure you have a flashlight. That helps. Okay, so this is where the fact that this thing moves can become a pain in the ass. So what I did was, it usually move it around, right? And there's the lock right there and everything. I just grabbed it from here with my finger, pushed it down like that until this outside corner, there kind of jammed into this metal frame piece here I'm pointing out with my thumb. And then I went in and I'm gonna have to spin the camera for this. I went in and I did the top first, up top there. So this whole thing should fit up, the cream colored part should fit up against the white housing there. And now I have to get the one that's behind this plug right up here, get that in. Little bit of a struggle, but once you get things kind of snugged up or whatever, once you get this white thing kind of jammed up into the frame there so it doesn't move as much, it was a lot easier. I had to do it blind. On to the second one. So after fishing this stupid screw out of the door 100 times, because it's really hard, if you've got big fingers like me, this last slot, the left one, the left hole for the screw is in a slot that like is just too small for me to fit my fingers in. Every time I tried to thread it by hand, it would just fall out. So I used some blue painter's tape, taped the screw to the end of my small screwdriver. We'll see if that works. All right, so I finally got it in. I don't know if I recommend this method. I'll click to or I'll link to the video I used that showed to do it this way below. And I'm gonna look for other videos because this took forever. Getting the two screw holes aligned and then getting both those small screws in while trying to do it in the door. Not sure it's the best way. So anyway, at the end of this, I'll give my complete review of this method. But the next thing we're gonna do is basically start putting things back together. So the first thing I'm gonna do is plug in my power right here. You can't make a mistake. I don't think I can show it because it's too dark in there. You can't make a mistake. Just remember the squeeze clip part goes this way against the inside of the door, okay? And you don't want to forget this because after you put the vapor seal on and everything, you just have to take everything apart again and do it again because without power this doesn't work. I forgot, before we put the power in, the next thing you want to do is put these screws back in. Align the lock the way it's supposed to. The way it's supposed to be, right like that, with the child lock coming through just like that, okay? And then you're gonna put the screws in and you're gonna make sure that those holes are aligned right in there. I see I move it around. Now you wanna reconnect your power. And now we're going to test it. I don't know if y'all can hear this, but it's working. I'm going to go ahead and click it, and I'm going to have to hold my camera here while I'm only doing, you don't have to see anything, I'm only doing this for the sound. All right, I think it's working. On to the next step, which is reconnecting these things. You know, remember where things go. Oh, it looks like I dropped the door lock here. Remember where things go. This is your door lock. And the little clip is, where's my finger? Doing this with one hand sucks. There's the little clip. So you're gonna feed this back through the vapor barrier. That goes in the hole right there. I went ahead and clipped those in just now so I wouldn't forget. Must be because I locked the door. It should be able to come further this way. I don't know. All right, don't do this at home. I'm just going to force it. Hold on, I'm going to figure this out. That's what I needed, was two hands. I put this, I aligned it with the hole. Let me unsnap it again. I aligned it with the hole first. Then with my other hand, I pushed the lock thing up this way and pulled, but this was still in the hole. So with both hands, I pulled it that way. It went in the hole completely. It seated itself completely. And then I'm able to flick up the lock like that. And next we're going on to the vapor seal. You're just gonna take it, you're gonna put it back the way it was. And I believe one of these pokes out of the vapor seal, but I may be wrong on that. Just, you'll figure it out. There's a hole where it's supposed to poke out. All right, now we're gonna put our door panel back on. Remember, it hangs from up here. So we're gonna hang it up there first, push it down from the top, kind of bang it on the top, and then we're gonna seat each one of these clips. All right, so I've got the lock through the hole. I'm just gonna pound it a little bit. Make sure it looks like it's seated right and flat. The hole right there, where we're gonna put a pin, is good line, good alignment. Then we're gonna come over to the edges, and I'm gonna look for the first little tab or pin, and get it lined up with the hole. And once I get that one in, I'm just gonna start pounding the rest. Let me see. It's not quite lining up right. Needs to come this way more. There we go. Now it lines up. All right, so there's the first one. The rest, you may have to struggle. Son of a gun. It's over here. It's not lining up right. There we go. Okay. There's number one. Number two, just work your way around doing that. Now we gotta put this back on. Remember, there's a little clip. I'm gonna put these screws down where I can't lose them. Remember, you've got that little clip right there. So that rod goes in the hole, and then you clip it around the rod. All right, So there, I've got it around I've got it in the hole. I'm moving the clip around. Son of a gun, I gotta use both hands. But you just do that, you move it around and then you clip this over the rod and then you screw this in with the 2 screw holes, upper left, lower right. All right, before I put the cap back on there, I just want to test this. That works. That works. Make sure I have the child lock off. That works. Okay, so far so good. Next, we got to put the door screws in. Remember, we took out some here and up in the corner up here. Got to put those back in. And then and this pin. Let's do the pin right now. That's done. And this cap that I succeeded in destroying. You just push it in until it snaps in. All right, now the screws. And then the last thing you have to do is this. And so it's basically got a tab here that's gonna lock in on that. I don't know where it locks in, up here. Anyway, that tab's gonna go under, and then that tab's gonna go under these rubber pieces, and then this hole right here is what secures it with that pin. Okay, last but not least, this thing. This clip right here goes into that notch right here in the rubber, and that hole is for that pin right there. So let me see if I can do this with one hand. Easy peasy. Job done, let's test it. So I did test it one last time, and guess what? The actuator did not move the locking mechanism at all. By trying to do this in the door, basically what happened was I failed to push the top screw through an important piece of the locking mechanism, so it ended up not working at all, and I had to redo this job entirely, this time doing it right. So look below, I'll show you the link to the video that I used for this. In terms of, you know, the wrong way to do it. I don't recommend going to that video. And then I'll also put a link, though, to the right way to do this. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, Doc out. Oh, you made it to the end. That's awesome. Listen, I'm Doc. I'm the one who's, you know, the voice behind these videos. And I really appreciate you taking the time to actually watch the whole thing. That's fantastic. If you've got time, if you want to, if you like the video, hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the bell button so you get notified of new videos when I put them up. I'm going to try and do one a week. And I'm going to do a bunch of Instagram stuff, so make sure you follow me there and on Twitter. Instagram's going to be the shorter stuff. I don't have any merchandise yet. I'm planning to, as the channel grows. If I succeed, I'll get some merch. For now, if you really want to help me in another way, you like these videos enough, I'm going to put links to my books in the description of the video. I'm a science fiction author in my spare time as well, so I'm juggling a lot of balls. But anyway, I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you at the next one. Hey, do me a favor and turn this junk off. I don't know how to deal with tech.